Welcome to Legacy Lounge, the podcast where you'll discover how to lead with purpose and build a legacy that matters. So if you're ready to step into your full potential, show up authentically for yourself and others, and create a lasting impact on the world, you're in the right place. Let's begin.
Gosh, first of all, I'm so excited that we actually are here and that we made this happen because persistence, okay? What's up? I'm Sarah Gemmell, and I'm a marketing consultant and strategist for small business owners and solopreneurs. And I've really been known for helping the mid-entrepreneur, right? The entrepreneur who is not new to this, they're true to this. They don't need business 101. They don't need marketing 101. They've done the course, they've done the trainings, the masterminds, but they still need that support as they're implementing all of their ideas and their knowledge, right? That right now, if you are implementing random acts of marketing, you're just winging it, flying by the seat of your pants in your marketing. You know that it's creating random results and inconsistent revenue. And that's where I come in and I help you to dial it in, clean it up so that you can attract, nurture, and convert more. And for fun, I love to line dance. I love to ride my horses. I'm up to 8 chickens at the time of this recording. Chickens. I have 2 horses, 8 chickens, 3 cats, and a 1-year-old son. Yes. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, for sure. So it's funny because I feel like when you hear my story, it seems like these random leaps into like one industry to another, but they've actually been so synchronous and they've actually flowed really interestingly. So when I got out of college, I have a degree in psychology. And from the time I think I was in like a sophomore in high school, and from that time I was like, I'm going to be an addictions counselor. Like that was it for me. I had no plan B. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be an addictions counselor. And sure enough, that's what I did. I went to school, I got my degree, I got an internship and a job in addictions counseling. I worked in one of the worst cities in the country at the time. And I did that for about 2 years, I think, before I got married and moved to Kansas. I married a guy in the military and we got stationed in Kansas. And in Kansas, I was actually running the drug and alcohol program for Job Corps, which is a vocational training for like poverty level young adults. And I was running it for the whole state of Kansas. And I absolutely love the work. I love the clients. Like addicts have a piece of my heart. I have so much empathy for them. And like, I have such a sweet spot not a sweet spot, a soft spot for addicts. Love the work, love the people. hated with a capital HATED, the red tape and the social services. And I was also really, really young, right? Like right out of college, I was freshly married. I was only like 22, I think, when I started the Job Corps job. And I just didn't know how to balance the emotional side of me and like understanding that like I had to kind of play the game too, right? And I didn't really know how to effectively communicate. And, I kind of was like real quick to like, I guess like be triggered is the right word, but it was quick to be like, what the hell? Like, what are we doing? Right. And that was really hard for me. That was really hard for me. So when I went through my divorce in 2016, yeah, 2016, I left my job in social services and I became a personal trainer. And it worked out so seamlessly because I actually had been working with the kids in my program at the gym of like, hey, instead of smoking weed to de-stress, how about we go to the gym? So it's this perfect transition from addictions counseling into fitness. And fitness is where I found entrepreneurship. That was where I discovered I'm like, oh, I could run an online business. I can actually build my own business. I have to learn marketing and sales and emails and all of these things, right? And talk about like making your head spin, because I literally thought I was just going to be a personal trainer for $20 an hour and I thought it was the best thing ever. I was like, right. I'm like, perfect. So I actually fractured my facet joint. So I broke my back in 2017. I had a hell of a 3 years, like 16, 17, 18. So 17, I broke my back. 18, I had a spinal fusion. And that was really like the push for me to figure out the online business, right? Because I had like a 2.5 year recovery time. And I walked with a walker. I used a commode to go to the bathroom. Like my mom and dad were showering me at 25 years old. Like it was a lot. So I had to figure out this online entrepreneurship, and I ended up building an online fitness platform that took off in 2020, right? I had already been building it. Then 2020, we all know what happened then, and it took off, right? Now I became this national fitness platform, and I started building a team. And I had a team of, I think, 12 between my admin support and the people who ran my classes for me. And we did live fitness classes. And that's where I really just started to discover like true leadership in like the most stereotypical way of like, I'm leading a team, right? Like I'm leading subordinates, whether they're independent contractors or not. Like this is a team I have to lead. And I found out I suck. I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay. Because when you're a big personality and like I'm a natural born leader, quote unquote, I was like, oh, I got this. Like in a group project in school, I'm always the leader. Like out of 5 children in my family, like I'm the leader. Like, oh, okay. No, no, that's not accurate. That is not at all the case. So I actually invested into a mastermind with a very good friend of mine who is an IO psychologist, which you would actually very much appreciate. She is an absolute genius when it comes to like team building and leadership and all these things. And I started to figure that stuff out. But when I moved, I randomly packed my shit and moved to Georgia in 2022, literally like gave my family 30 days notice. I'm like, I'm leaving. And they're like, right. I'm like, by the way, I like got an apartment, got a farm for the horses. Like my stuff is packed, my lease is signed, like I'm leaving in 30 days. And half of my family was like, yeah, that tracks. And then the other half of my family was like, wait, this is so out of left field. And my mom was like, no, it's not. Like, how did you not see this coming, right? So when I moved to Georgia in the beginning of 2022, I released my fitness business and I transitioned into like networking and marketing. And that's kind of been this current evolution of getting to where I am now and the current offers that I have and all these things. But it's been this like beautiful transition because in my fitness business, I figured out all my own marketing, right? And it turns out that I'm really good at marketing. I have a brother who's like a fancy smanchy VP of marketing, and he taught me everything I know for the most part. And that really catapulted me into a lot of the things that I'm currently learning. Like he really set that foundation. So like imagine a formally trained, highly paid VP of marketing, just like brain dumping on you. That's how I learned marketing. Because I went to my brother and I said to him, I have 2 brothers, by the way, and they're like, my siblings are amazing. My older brother, Mike, and I said, Mike, I need more clients and I need you to tell me how to get them. And he's like, market research. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I was like, I need you to tell me like the sexy, cool stuff. Like how many posts on Instagram do I have to make? And he was like, It doesn't matter. He's like, it literally doesn't matter. He's like, this is how you need to do your market research. This is how you get proof of concept. This is how you figure out your messaging. This is how you position your offers. And it was all the stuff that's not fun. It's not sexy. It's not viral on Instagram. And I'll tell you what, man, he should have charged me 5 figures for what he taught me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's so interesting because I didn't have an idea. Like I didn't think very consciously of what I thought leadership would be. It's just like I have this big personality. One of my superpowers, other than being like super self-aware. Okay, my self-awareness is on level sexy. Thank you. Side note, when we were in Vegas, someone told me to do stand-up comedy, and I'm like, maybe that's my next thing. So okay, it might be like the next season for Sarah. But like my self-awareness is on level sexy. And I know this, right? And I know that my superpower is I can connect with people very quickly and very genuinely. I am very empathetic. I am extremely compassionate to other people's situations. Like I can literally feel myself in their situation. I will tell you a very quick side story to give you the perfect picture of this, okay? When I was an addictions counselor in Camden, New Jersey, I used to take my clients to an NA meeting once a month. So they met with me 3 times a week. And one of those meetings, we would walk ourselves over to the local church that did an NA meeting. And obviously, we can all see what I look like, right? And I'm in the middle of the hood in Camden walking with my clients, and none of them would walk with me. They would all walk behind me so that like no one associated them with me because I looked like a narc. But they were like, but we'll be behind you because if you need help, like we got your back, right? And we would walk ourselves to the, and like I believed them. Like I knew it. And still to this day, a lot of them do. Anyway, so we walk ourselves to the NA meeting and we're sitting in this NA meeting and they have a speaker. And the speaker is talking about how she's like, you'll do whatever you have to do to get the fix. And she's like, and like you'll suck a little D for a line of Coke, and you know what I'm talking about. And I'm sitting in the audience and I'm like, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, we're making eye contact and I'm like nodding my head. I'm so involved in her story. For the record, I have no idea what that feels like. I've never, ever, ever been in that situation. I'm not in recovery. I've never been desperate for a fix, but I'm sitting there making eye contact with this woman, like, oh my God, yes. And the two of us are like, yeah, yeah, girl, like, I totally understand. I feel you. Like, that's how empathetic I am. It's weird. It's crazy. So, anyway, yeah. Yeah. And it's like, because I'm like that, I think I just never even consciously thought about, am I going to be able to lead a team? Like, yes, I am. And I'm not going to micromanage them. And I'm going to do this, this, and this, right? All the things. And what I wish I knew then that I knew now, because I actually am starting to build back a team, and a very slim and trim team. Okay. I'm talking like one or two people other than some project based things, right? I have like one or two people, and I actually just interviewed a girl yesterday, and I am very upfront about how I am and how I operate, because if you don't like that, you're not gonna like working for me, and this is not gonna work. Like, I am a hot mess. I don't answer messages right away. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of hands in a lot of pots, and I'm gonna, throw a lot of things at you. And I'm probably not gonna start messages if it's like something that's really important. I'm not like, hey, Brenna, how are you? How are your puppies? Heart emoji, heart eyes. I'm like, girl, why is this client getting triple charged because she's yelling at me? Right? That doesn't happen, but that's just an example of something where I'm like, either this client got charged wrong, or this email automation's not working, or this class didn't start on time, or, like, this is something that's important and we don't have time for the fluffy shit. I don't communicate fluffy. And if you don't like that, I need you to know now. And actually, from the mastermind that I did years ago, Tiana is her name. And Tiana was like, Sarah, honestly, I think you need to scare people about working with you up front so that when they get into it, it's not really that bad. But you want to scare them up front. So if it scares them off, like, you're better off. And that's kind of the approach I take. Like, I kind of hype it up to be a little bit worse than it actually is. But letting people, yes, right. And it's like, okay, you're so focused in like the hard, like the masculine strategies of hiring someone. So, for example, like, do they have the right skill set? Do they have the right experience? Do they have the right working hours? Do they agree to the pay? But those softer skills of leadership, of like, here's how I operate, here's how I communicate, here is my love language at work, like, here's how I show appreciation, here's how I like to receive appreciation. How do we track performance and do like performance reviews, so that even though I'm a very hands-off type of leader, there still needs to be accountability and performance tracking. Like, those are those softer skills that literally no one ever prepares you for until you're like, I have a team, and then why are they not performing, and why don't they do this? And it's like, we want to blame the team, because that's normal human psychology, is like, well, the other person is doing this. And stepping into that leadership role is, okay, they are doing X, but what did I do over here to cause X to happen? Because I am the lead. This is my company. So I can't expect people to show up if I'm not giving them what they need, either literally or in terms of support. Right? If I'm not giving them the right guidelines, if I'm not tracking their performance, if I'm not being very direct when I have a problem with something, how do I expect them to fix it? Yeah. 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 Yep. 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 Hmm. I feel like a leadership myth that comes to mind that needs to be like thrown in the trash and set on fire is that leadership is when you have a team. Because it ties perfectly into what you just said, where if you're working with clients, you're also in a leadership position, right? Like I know there's this like lead yourself idea too, and I'm not the expert in that. Go to Brenna, call Brenna to like for the lead yourself, right? But like you're a leader in the way that you work with clients. If you are a service provider in any type of fashion, right? You are the leader of that partner. They're coming to you for an expertise, right? So what you were just talking about, being ready to take feedback, being ready to adjust strategy when it needs to, keeping the calls on track so that you're not talking about random shit for 2 hours. Like you are the leader of this partnership, and that's why people are paying you and investing their hard-earned money with you, because you have an area of expertise that they want. Like even if you are a photographer or you lay cement, right? Like you still are leading the client. You need to set the expectations. You need to remind them of what's in and out of scope. You need to, keep them on track for deadlines, and all these things go into leading the client. So this idea of like, well, I don't have a team, I don't need leadership. And it's like your ears turn off when you don't think you're in a leadership position or you're not ready to hire. Leadership is not hiring, it's part of it, but they're not these like synonymous words, right? And you have to look at if you can better lead your clients, they're going to have a better client experience, and they're going to like shout you from the rooftops. They're going to stay with you forever. They're going to refer all their friends. And all of these skills are translatable so that when you do have a team, it also is relevant. When you bring on clients, it's relevant. Like these are skills that you need to have no matter what. Like the way that what I was talking about with the way that I had a team in fitness, now I have a very slim and trim team, and they're just starting with me. Like I'm just starting to rebuild that team back, right? But when I show up with clients, like you just said, like I don't hide that I'm a hot mess. I don't hide it. I own that shit all day, every day. I'm a hot mess. And I'm going to let my clients know that this is how I communicate. This is how I operate. This is what you can expect from me, the same way that I do when I hire a team member. Because now when I don't answer my clients within an hour of them sending me a message, they're not upset about it because I set this expectation from the jump, right? Like I will try to get back to, yes. Yep. Yep. And say yeah, and same thing with with feedback. I wouldn't even call it criticism. If you come to me and you're like, Sarah, this is what my marketing plan looks like. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass and be like, this is a great marketing plan and everything is so wonderful. And I have no idea why you're not making millions of dollars a day. I'm like, yeah, this is great, but the messaging is actually really not clear. Or like, this offer is good, but do we have market research behind it? Or this lead magnet has a lot of potential, but right now there's no clarity in it. Right? It's very unclear what it is and why I want to download it. I have a client that just she sent me for a request for an audit to a landing page. And the first section of the landing page, it had a lot of really great information on it, but it was really busy. It was not very aesthetically pleasing and it didn't fit the mobile view, right? I could have easily said to her, "Oh my God, it looks great." What the hell? That is not why she is paying me. That is not why she is paying me. She is paying me to say, hey, listen, it's really hard to read. Let's do X, Y, and Z to make it easier to read, to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Like it's really, really busy, which makes me not want to read it. That's the type of feedback people need. If I love you and you're my client and I don't want to sit through and read your landing page, do you think that an ideal client's going to want to? Probably not. Right? So it's like these skills are so translatable. And I think that going back to the idea of what the misconception is like we think about them so separately, right? We think about leadership over here and hiring a team, marketing over here, sales over here, social media over here. If you are truly the CEO of your company, you need to start looking at all of these things cohesively as one piece. That's why you feel like you're a chicken with your head cut off, running around and you have 17 different jobs and you have to run full time and you're not making any money because you're not looking at them as one cohesive puzzle. You're treating them all as separate pieces. Yeah. It's so interesting because when you first asked that question, I'm like, girl, what the hell? I don't know. The way that I keep my authenticity no matter what. And I've done this, one of the greatest things I ever learned was being careful with what I share. And authenticity to me does not mean that I just show up on social media with hair a mess and no makeup and no bra because being a mess is authentic. Okay. Now, being a mess for me is authentic. Right? Just like kind of with you, like you are polished in person. And like even right now, sitting here looking at you, you are polished. That's authentic for you. And there's some people who like they always have their makeup done, and that's authentic for them, right? So like feeling like it's authentic to be who I am, but being careful about what I share. So I am very open, but I do not share every piece of my life on social media. I do not share every piece of what I'm currently struggling with in my business. I do not share things that I'm not sure how it's going to benefit my audience. I share from scars, not from wounds. So if I'm currently struggling, you will not see on social media or any other public platform, you will not see what I'm currently struggling with because it's not my place to share it yet. I will share it when I have a reason to share it and when I'm very, very clear on this is the benefit to my audience to hearing about this struggle, right? And in keeping that authenticity, I'm very, very careful about what I share. The other piece of that is being careful of what I delegate in my business. So I have certain things that are non-negotiable for me that I will delegate and I will not delegate regardless of what season I'm in. So like people come to me for me. So I will never delegate the actual client facing work. I will never delegate talking to you or doing a VIP day or getting on a group call with my group clients. Because as people scale, I see people that do really, really well because people love them. And then in order to scale, they have these low ticket offers. They think that people are not paying them enough money to have access to them. So they bring in a co-coach. They start to lose a lot of momentum, a lot of authenticity. Their brand starts to become devalued with people who were once their number one cheerleaders, because now it's like, well, the people who got you to where you are no longer paying you enough money. And I will just never be like that, right? Like I know that when I am talking to my clients, I am in my zone of genius. I am brilliant at what I do. And my clients love being with me, but I love being with them just as much. So that's one piece for me that will never be delegated. And like, same thing with AI. I like AI, but I will always keep the human in my business. Now, we might have some like AI type of resources, but when you come to Sarah Jean Co. for marketing support, you will get a human and it will be me, right? If I need help scaling, it's going to be on the back end, admin, website updates, email marketing, whatever, repurposing content, managing a podcast. That's the type of support that I know allows me to stay in my authenticity so I can be on stage, be on podcasts, and be with my clients. Because at the end of the day, my clients are why I do this. I want to spend 4 hours with you on a VIP day. I don't want to delegate that. I don't want to send a co-coach and then collect your money. And that for me is authenticity, right? And in that, I will also be chasing chickens and having babies and loving on my husband, okay? It kind of goes back to what we just talked about with always keeping the human in my business, right? Like the legacy of like, we're here to serve people, and I will not negotiate on how I serve people in the name of scaling. Now, we all deserve to make money, right? Like I run a business to make money, and I've never pretended like that's not the case. But in doing that, keeping human at the forefront and keeping that connection piece at the forefront, because my zone of genius and the reason why I'm so good at what I do is because yes, I can connect with people, but it's that back and forth. It's the ability to feed off of each other, right? To have ideas flowing around and to have that second set of eyeballs to be able to just be like, Sarah, I have no idea what the fuck I'm working on this week, and then we can work through it. AI will never be able to do that for you. Right? Like AI will never be able to give you the perspective shift that another human can, because AI is only listening to what you tell it. So if you don't know what to tell it, it doesn't know how to help you. Where a human comes in, right? And that's where I use my degree all the time. I use my psychology background all the time. I'm not here to give people frameworks or courses or more information overload. I am here to help experts market like an expert, right? By navigating their existing knowledge, their existing ideas. I help my clients come to their own conclusions, their own solutions. I'm just that guiding force for them, right? I'm the cheerleader, the guider, the supporter, the shift of perspective, the devil's advocate sometimes. And that's really that legacy, because it really does make you feel really seen and heard without just being thrown another framework in your face, or here's another course, here's another 12-month mastermind, right? And then outside of that, I will probably also have a legacy in rescuing a bagillion animals before the day I die. No, just I love Instagram. I'm an Instagram girly forever. So you can find me on Instagram, and it's really easy to just find all the things you need from my Instagram. But I'll also make sure that we link my website in the show notes, which is sarahgemmell.com. Everything can also be found there if you don't love Instagram as much as I do. But I have a ton of resources to help you with marketing support. I host monthly networking events virtually. Yeah, monthly. I think I said monthly 3 times, but it's a monthly event.
That's it for this episode of Legacy Lounge, a podcast dedicated to empowering you to lead with purpose. Remember, leadership begins with you. When you're connected to your values, strengths, and authentic self, you show up powerfully for your team, businesses, and everyone you lead. To authentically lead others, you must first lead yourself. I challenge you to consider, how are you investing in your personal growth to create a legacy that you envision? Thank you for joining me in the Legacy Lounge. If this episode sparked any thoughts or inspired action, I'd love to hear from you. I'm your host, Brenna Rollins-Williams. Connect with me on LinkedIn or other socials, and let's continue the conversation. Remember, your legacy is built one intentional step at a time.